of the people.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Broadcasting Seeds. Today, we have a guest. Her name is Natalie Smearman. And I would like her to tell us who she is, what she does, and where we can find her.
I could do that. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Natalie Smearman. I am a cryptid and paranormal investigator. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube under Natalie Smearman. You can also find me under Relic Films Media. That is who I film with. We have 2 documentaries under our belt with me in them. The first one is called The Vanished. That is going to be released and premiered January 31st of 2026. And then we have Return to the LBL, Making Contact, which we just filmed last month. That'll be coming out later in 2026. I also co-host a podcast, Paranormal Among Us, and also co-host with my Blondes and Booze gals. So that is a ton of fun. We have a ton of fun. So that's where you can find me. And
Awesome.
also we are filming a talk show through Relic called Beyond the Ordinary. That is on YouTube. So we have 3 shows out, and they're really cool. We interview some great people, have some great experiences, and have a ton of laughs because we never take anything seriously.
Wow. So the guy at Relic is Greg Ogles, right?
Yes, that's right.
And shout out to him because he seems like he's the hardest working guy in
He is.
documentary films.
He's insane. I don't even know how he does what he does with producing, directing, editing, releasing, the whole 9 yards. So we have a good group of people and we all support each other. So that's good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Give everybody some love, folks. So Natalie, the question I like to ask everyone first is, what got you into this world of high strangeness? Some people it's cryptid stuff that they've had Bigfoot sightings or paranormal, experiences, whatever.
Mhm.
What got you into this whole, because it's crazy.
It is. It's very strange. But my journey started when I was 3 years old. And it started with paranormal experiences. And I started with my very first sighting was my great grandmother, who I had never met. I only saw pictures. And that was when I was 3. I experienced spirits, not seeing them, but feeling them throughout my childhood. When I was about 13 years old, I was going through a really tough time. And then I saw my great grandmother standing at the foot of my bed, just watching over me. So that was profound. That's when I really, really knew that there was another side to everything, that there was a whole ancestors are watching over me. And then it progressed from there with feelings of spirits around me or coldness when they were standing next to me. Well, I grew up in West Virginia. And during that time, I'm experiencing these paranormal things, but there was always this joke about Bigfoot, don't go into the woods or whatever. And we all laughed and we're like, that's just, parents trying to scare kids so they don't go into the woods.
So did you live in the area where they call him the wood booger and stuff like that? Or no, was that just Bigfoot?
I didn't.
Okay,
it was always Bigfoot where I was.
Because it's a small zone, but I was like, wood booger, why are we calling it wood?
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
So,
didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's a legit question. So then I dismissed it, didn't think anything of it, moved to Florida, and there were Bigfoot sightings reported on the news. And I'm going, I think there's more to this. So I started to do my own research because whenever I am interested in something and something is somewhat profound, I want to learn more. I want to read about it. I want to learn about it. Who's investigating? What are they finding? How are they finding this? So over a course of about 14 years, that was just a hobby, is just to learn as much as I could.
Right.
Meanwhile, during me researching, living in Florida, I lived in a haunted house. We had spirits move through. The neighborhood we lived in was very, very paranormal. Everybody had some sort of paranormal activity happening in their house. It was never mean, never vicious. It was just like, I'm going to move a vase or I'm going to hear something. And, I'm hearing a cat meow, but there's no cat in my house. I mean, things of that nature,
Yeah. Just the
you know.
presence.
Yeah, just a presence. And it wasn't a big deal. However, when we moved into the house, I had just gotten married. And my husband at the time, retired Army of 20 years, retired Green Beret, he was moving from his military career to his regular career, civilian career. And we're unpacking boxes.
When was this?
This was 2015.
Gotcha.
And so we're unpacking boxes, and I unpacked this one little box, and it had a cute little bracelet in there. And I said, "Oh," I said, "Did one of your kids make this? This is adorable." He goes, "No, that's a souvenir off my first kill." I went, "What?" I'm like, "You brought this into the house?" And I kind of caused a ruckus. He's like, "That's my souvenir." And it ended up we had an argument about it. And I was just like, fine, just, if something happens, I'm going to tell you. Well, about 3 months later, a shadow figure appears.
Mm.
This shadow figure appeared in and around the master bedroom, master bath, guest bathroom, laundry room, right where the garage was, where this box was. And I told him about it, and he was like, you're fine." Just completely dismissed, denied everything.
Yeah.
This little shadow figure kept peeking around corners, just trying to figure things out. Never did anything bad, but I knew it wasn't going to go away. I'm not going to have my husband or convince him to get rid of it. So I laid down some ground rules, and I talked I called him Shadow Dude. And so I said, "Here are the ground rules for the house. This is what you're not allowed to do. If you cross a line, you're going to deal with me." So 8 years went by. Shadow Dude followed the rules, was very respectful. I'm like, "It's okay if you want to be curious. It's okay. We can live harmoniously, but, just follow the rules." Well, once the marriage started to dissolve and there was a lot of hostility in the home, Shadow Dude started crossing the line. And I saw him go from this little being, and he started to grow,
Just feeding.
just feeding off of the negative
Hmm.
energy, feeding off of it. And I caught him hovering over me, watching me sleep at night. I caught
I don't mean to
him.
laugh. It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah, and it's like, and
Yeah.
of course I screamed, and it startled me. Things started moving towards me. Like I would be in the bathroom, the scale would come right towards me. And I'm like, this is crazy. I'm like, "Now you're crossing a line." And I set the boundaries again. I'm like, "You don't do it." And I got really angry, and I'm like, so then it turned towards my son. My son, he went to the guest bathroom just to use the bathroom, and he walked out, and the shadow dude was in the master bedroom growling at him. And so I'm like, we ain't having this. So I walked in the bedroom, and I was very vicious, very angry. And I told him, I said, "I will drag you to the depths of hell myself." So then around Thanksgiving that year, the kids and I left. And then my ex was still there trying to find a place. We come back from Thanksgiving vacation, walk in the house, and Shadow Dude was probably, I mean, standing there really, really tall, watching me walk in. I said, "Is this how you want to start this day?" And he disappeared. My ex moved out, took the boxes with him. Shadow Dude was gone. So Shadow Dude is residing wherever my ex is right
Oh
now.
my gosh. It's
So
crazy.
that is some of the stuff that I've dealt with from the paranormal side. I mean, I do paranormal investigations, and, and I can feel I'm very sensitive to spirit. I don't see them, but sometimes I can hear them. They can make me feel their emotions, feel their anxiety. Sometimes if they died in a very tragic way, I could feel how they died. So, there are sometimes I have to walk away from a situation just to ground myself, to get back, to prepare myself, because sometimes how they passed was very in a violent way. So like for instance, we walked into the Ray County Museum in Missouri to do an investigation, and each room has a different theme. Beautiful, beautiful museum, fantastic. And I walked into the Black History room, and immediately I was overwhelmed with spirit. It was so profound. And all of a sudden, I felt my throat burning. I was having a hard time breathing. I was tasting smoke. I was just like my stomach was in knots. I felt like there was a ton of bricks on my shoulders, and I am gasping for air. And I had to leave and then compose myself, get grounded to go back in. We had a medium come back with us in that room, and it was the spirit of a young girl that was burned alive, to send a message to other families like, this is, don't cross this line. And that's what it was. And her name was Becky. Because when we came back, she whispered her name in my ear. And it was just, and she was, when I was looking at her with my mind's eye, she had this beautiful little white dress on with little flowers, and her best Sunday best shoes, and with her little braids. And she was like, look at me, look at my dress. And she was so excited about her dress. And so, but it was just so sad and just profound. So yeah, I
Mm.
can feel a lot of things when I enter this paranormal arena. But of course, once you enter the paranormal arena or the cryptid arena, they cross over. There's a lot of overlap. And I learned that after I got into investigating the cryptids, and that started in the spring of 2024. I attended my first Bigfoot conference because it was in Ocala. And I'm like, well, that's pretty darn close to me. I want to learn more. I've done all I can with the books and documentaries and, learning what I can. I want to go talk to people that have witnessed it. So I ended up going there, meeting a ton of wonderful people in and around Florida. Also, one of the most profound people that I've met was Adam Davis, and we all kind of stayed in touch. And I started with, after that conference, boots on the ground, investigating in Florida. What is this? I actually went solo camping in the Everglades down at the Skunk Ape headquarters. Behind there, there's a campground back there, and I was there solo camping just to see what I can draw in. I didn't draw in any skunk apes or Bigfoot, but I did draw in a male panther in heat. So those Florida panthers are pretty profound, and they're all over South Florida.
Especially when they start screaming because they scare the
Yeah,
crap out of you.
yeah,
Oh
and
my
they
God.
also chirp like birds.
Yeah.
I was like, "What is that?" And then it started making this weird childlike sound, and I'm like, "What?" I mean, this was right beside my tent.
Yeah. You're dying. Just like, what is it?
And I'm like, "I'm alone. I've got bear spray because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, I'm
Yeah.
a huge bear spray fan. I don't wanna hurt anything,
Mm-mm.
but I just wanna stop it, whatever it is, so I have time to get away." So that was pretty cool. The next time I went down there, I actually, about 1:30 in the morning, I was woken up to an owl, and I'm going, "That's odd." There's owls down there, don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
this sounded a little weird. And
Mhm.
then I heard chatter in the swamp talking back and forth.
Nice.
It was
Wow.
back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I was like, "Holy cow." And, I think as a novice at that time, I didn't think to hit record. I was
Of course
just
not.
so overwhelmed by, like, "What is this?" And
It's almost
afterwards, I'm
like you're
like,
compelled not to.
"Yeah,
I get it. No,
yeah." And I'm like, "Okay, all right." So that was cool. And then we found this structure after we went investigating the following night, and we found this odd structure in the swamp. So it was way out there, and this was not natural. It was a tree that was broken off, and then it was moved, and this trunk was carved into a point, and then the tree was set on top of it, and it was just teetering there, and this tree had to be 30 feet tall, and it was all the way. It was really a cool experience because that was not just nature. That
Yeah.
was something had done that.
Right.
So that was pretty cool. And then in February of this year, I got a phone call from Adam Davis. And he goes, "Hey, I see you've been investigating, and that's so cool. I'm working with Relic Films. We're going to be doing a documentary in the Smoky Mountains investigating two unexplained disappearances. These people just disappeared without a trace. Very bizarre." And he goes, "I would love to have you join us and film with us." And I'm like, "Holy cow!" I said, "I would absolutely love to." So that later that day, I talked to Greg. We hit it off right away. And then 2 weeks later, I'm at the Smoky Mountains filming this amazing documentary. And I can tell you this, Relic Films, when we go filming, I mean, when we actually film, when cameras are rolling, we're very dedicated, very serious, because we want to make sure that the audience gets to experience what we're experiencing.
Mhm.
And so we want to make sure that that resonates. When the cameras are off, we are the funniest people on the planet. We laugh, we say things that are inappropriate.
Of
I'll
course.
I'll say that, and we're always ragging on each other, always harassing each other, and but we always have such a great time. And the Vanished, like I said, is coming out January 31st. And so, I did get to preview a first draft, which I was blown away. It's it's a dark, dark film. There's a
Mhm.
lot of paranormal activity in and around the Smoky Mountains,
Oh god,
which I
yeah.
didn't really fully understand that until I was in the forest and we are experiencing all of these insane things
It's just
happening.
such a super heavy
Yeah.
feeling there.
Yeah.
So we went to the I went to the Smoky Mountain Bigfoot conference
Mhm.
in July. Was that in
Yeah.
July?
It was
Yeah.
July.
And so I remember my wife and I walking, and as soon as I hit, it was just like a boundary line. As soon
Mhm.
as I hit it and walked into the forest,
Yeah.
it was just like everything changed. The air changed. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
So get
And
it.
yeah, we every night we were experiencing something brand new. And that, when you go into the forest and you do an investigation, most of the time you get nothing.
Hmm.
And that's okay because you're
Yeah.
still in the forest. You're having a good time. Every single day and night we had something happening. And I looked at Greg, I said, "Is this normal?" He goes, "No." I was like, and
Right.
so
For
now it's
sure.
like, what is happening here? What is this area that is so, I mean, we're seeing orbs, disembodied voices. We're getting sick. We're getting overwhelmed with emotions that it's like, and when this would happen, because I got overwhelmed, I got like my stomach was in knots. I was starting to have difficulty breathing. And Adam goes, "Walk away from that area." I walked 20 feet. I was fine. They're like, "Walk back to that area." As soon as I got back to that area, I wasn't fine. So it was just targeting me in this area, and it was just high, high energy. And close by was running water, and there was a lot of heavy, heavy feelings right there. And this was happening periodically, not just to me, but to all of us. We would walk through and we're like, "Whoa, what's that?" And we would just be overwhelmed. And then the strange noises that you couldn't identify, and it was really profound. So one day And one thing that was funny that happened there, we had a bad, bad storm hit. One of the worst storms hit Tennessee and took out power and actually took out the pump to the well that was providing the water to the motel. So we were without water for 3 days.
So when was this?
This was in March.
Oh, so was that the, yeah, anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, horrible
it was
storms.
really crazy. So we were without water for 3 days. We went a little feral. I'm not gonna lie to you. We went a little feral there. But I did walk up to the front desk and I said, "Can we have a bucket to go down to the river to get water to put in the tank of the toilet so we could at least flush our toilets?" So I was saying, I was just kind of talking to her, and I'm like, "So, yeah, this," I'm like, we're experienced." She goes, "Oh, yeah." She goes, "My grandfather was brought here for work." And she goes, "That's why my family is here now." She goes, "He was hired along with many others to help build roads into the national forest and Cades Cove and things of that nature."
Mm.
And she goes, "As they're digging and, to build this road, they came across a lot of unmarked graves. So they're digging up this
So never a
energy
good thing.
and then they would find some in boxes, and they didn't know, it didn't look like a coffin. They didn't know what it was, and they would open up these boxes, and there were scratch marks on the insides of these boxes.
Oof.
And they had noticed some people had been murdered, buried alive. It was violent. And so they're digging up, and once all of that happened, that energy of high strangeness and the activity magnified. And that really hasn't gone away. It's still there. And we actually got permission to go into Cades Cove after hours and do a night investigation. And we were getting disembodied voices. We had a ghost box where we were hearing these two people talking. And this one woman who clearly was the matriarch did not like us there and ended up taking our battery pack to the ghost box, taking out the plug and taking the battery and pushing it down and taking my backpack and throwing it on the floor. And I'm going, she really does not want us there.
Mm.
It was crazy. And we had an SLS camera outside, and we're seeing all these little beings, and we looked at the graves, and they were of children.
Yeah, those SLS cameras are wild.
Yes, they
And
are.
it's like you want, it just seems like it's, well, and I want, it seems too easy. You know
Yeah,
what I
it
mean?
does.
Like, you're
Yeah.
kinda like, "Wait, no." And I'm sure you get false positives,
Yeah, yeah.
but there's so many people, like, I've seen where people are sensitive, right?
Mhm.
And they're like, "Something's right there," and on camera, something's right there,
Right
and it's
there.
like, without them even looking at the camera.
Yeah,
So, I give it some credence. Yeah, that's
yeah.
wild.
Yeah, and to your point, I think that there are some false positives because there could be something there that may resemble a person, maybe a tree, that
Yeah,
may resemble something, and it picks up that could be a tree, and it's not a person.
yeah,
So I think, you just have to really, that's a tool to use,
absolutely.
but not to have 100% hard
Well, just
evidence.
like spirit boxes, you have to kinda
Yeah,
take it with a grain of salt. I mean, if it
exactly.
makes sense and things line up,
Mhm.
but you find too many people trying to fit round pegs in the square holes with
100%.
stuff like that. So you just, again, it's like you said, it's very
Yeah.
good for you to say that it's just another tool.
Yeah, it's a tool, and I think to have multiple tools working together along with what is the best tool is your own feelings, your
Yeah,
own experience. The human body is a great way to feel spirits, to open yourself up. And yeah, the tools that you use just help solidify the evidence, and that's really what it is.
yeah. I feel like, and you've been open to it since you were a child,
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
I was the same way. But I think like it's one of those things, and it's like a self-licking ice cream cone, unfortunately. But the people that believe when they go and they do, I mean, not every time I go out something happens, but
Right.
I feel like if you're open to these things,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have more experiences. I always find that when I take people that are shut down skeptics,
Yeah.
they're not even willing to like open to it at all. They never have experiences. They
Yeah.
just don't. Or, I mean, and when I say that, well, none of us have experiences
Yeah.
because I've taken people out on cryptid um, investigations or expeditions that are just non believers.
Mm-hmm.
And they left a non believer because we literally had nothing.
Yeah.
But I've brought
Yeah.
people that are just at least the doors cracked open.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there's always that one, there's just enough where they have that one experience where they're like, oh my God, I just heard monkeys in the Pennsylvania
Yeah.
forest. Like,
Yeah.
and it's not an owl, it's not a coyote.
Mm-mm.
Like, and we're all like, yep. Like we all look at each other and we're like, there it is. And then they're hooked, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Your
So
energy.
it's you have to be open to it.
Yeah. The energy that you project, they feel.
Yeah.
Spirits, cryptids, everything in between, they feel your energy. They feel your intentions. If you walk in going, you don't exist, you're not going to have that experience. If you walk in open going, I am open to experience anything and I'm willing to, be open to it.
Mhm.
Not believe. You don't have to believe, but you could just be open to it. That's when they're going to show themselves
Yeah.
or at least have you hear them. Because I am always open, and especially when I go into a forest, I pray, I meditate,
Mhm.
and just to understand, to get myself level set and then go in with an open mind.
'Cause you gotta protect yourself.
Oh, yes, you do.
Straight up.
Because,
If you
y-
don't,
yep, if you don't protect yourself, you're going to come home with an attachment,
got
negative
got freaking
energy.
hitchhikers, man.
Yes. Yeah. And
See,
so then you've,
people don't believe me when I tell them that, and I'm like, "No, you need to do yeah, you need to prepare yourself."
hmm
And afterwards too, you need to
yep,
cleanse and
absolutely.
do some praying and whatnot, or else things can attach themselves. And
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but I know it to be true.
hmm
So,
Yeah, it does. It happens where, and it could be, an entity or a spirit, not necessarily saying that they're evil or bad. It could just be a spirit going, I'm really interested in this person.
mhm,
They seem really cool and fun. I'm going to go home with them for a
right.
couple
Or it
days.
could be just like, "Hey, I don't wanna be here anymore.
Yeah, can you
And
help me?
if I can hitchhike on this person's"
Yeah, and
yeah,
it doesn't necessarily have to be negative. And so, but you really don't want to have this energy in your home, in your dwelling,
no.
in your, you know, in your presence, because that's your space.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really, really so important to ground, meditate, pray before, after, protect yourself completely. And whatever that means. I have people that wear St. Michael's medallion. I have people that, you know, do the sage and the Palo Santo and the black salt. So it whatever it means to you, however you feel protected the most
Yeah.
is what's the best. And we did that when we were out filming. And then, especially when we just got done filming in the LBL, because that
Mm.
was the most intense experience I
Yeah.
have ever had.
So let's talk. So first off, I want to touch on the point that you're coming mainly from a paranormal side to the cryptid side,
That's
which is
correct.
always a different experience.
Hmm.
In my experience, like me seeing that with people, it's always a different um
Yeah.
journey,
Yeah.
right? I guess
Yeah.
you could say.
It
So
is.
so how long have you been in the cryptid space along? I mean, obviously you never leave the paranormal space,
Right.
but you find that they rhyme, right?
Yeah. Oh,
So
a lot of overlap.
yeah. Um
Lot of overlap.
and so many people will deny that. in the
Mhm.
Bigfoot space. They'll be like,
Yeah.
no, no, no. And I'm not going to get into that war
No.
and that battle because I
No.
just stay right out of it. I
Yeah.
know what I believe and I know what my experiences are.
Yep.
I'm not going to get in the weeds on that.
Yeah.
So, wow.
No, I'm doing the same thing. Allergies.
So yeah, so get into the LBL experience from that
Yeah.
point. I just wanted to bring that up to the folks
Yeah,
is that
yeah. No, it's a great
is
point.
people usually, and it's usually a good thing,
Mhm.
but people have their own preconceived notions, but that's coming
Right.
from everywhere. So
Yeah.
anyway,
Well, we have been planning this since March when we finished filming in the Smoky Mountains. And we have been navigating this on how we're going to structure it, how we're going to do experiments, because we definitely want to do experiments. And the one thing I love about Greg Ogles is that I will bring an idea to him, no matter how crazy it is. He's like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's figure it out. Whatever it is, let's do it. So I got prepared for all of my experiments that I was going to be conducting. Adam had his experience. I mean, we all came together as a large group, and Greg wanted a big group of people. So we had the NCI team there. We had seekers there. We had Martin Groves was there. So we had a good group of people, and we wanted to go
NCI, is
out.
that the North Carolina
Yep, North
investigate? Yeah,
Carolina.
okay,
Yeah, North Carolina investigates.
yeah.
And so we were all there, and sometimes we divided and conquered, and sometimes we went out as a giant team. And we did have a little bit of overlap because the NCI guys came in the beginning, left about midweek, and then we had some more seekers. Seekers were there the whole week, but additional people came in, so we had some overlap and things. But the goal is to make contact, and we started out going, okay,
With
let's
what?
with
Anything?
whatever
Okay,
that was
gotcha.
there.
Yeah. Have you
We
ever
wanted
been to LBL before?
I had
Oof,
not.
man. That's another one of those places.
Yeah,
Spooky as all get out.
it is. It is what horror films are made from, because I can tell you firsthand, we went into it, and I'm going, and a lot of I have this little truck that I drove some of the time, so we would get back into these areas, and I'm going, where are we going? So it was crazy. So we wanted to make sure that Bigfoot, Dogman, rakes, crawlers, paranormal, whatever that was out there, we wanted to make contact.
Let me ask you,
Mhm.
rakes and crawlers.
Yep.
Are they the same thing? Are
Well,
they, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
So I'll tell you this. I have a story because we witnessed it.
okay.
So at about halfway through the week, we would go and investigate certain areas. And we would go as a team with a security team behind us with long guns and everything, because when you go into these places, the LBL, if people are not familiar, it's 170,000 acres of land, and it's deep woods. When you go and investigate in these areas, there's nothing around. You can't run to a house. You can't escape easily. There's nowhere to run.
It's the kind of place where something happens, and if you just happen to have cell service and you're able to call for
Yeah,
help, they're not coming out till the morning.
right. They're
Yeah,
not going to
that
come
it's
out.
that kind of place,
It
right?
is that kind of place. So you have to be prepared. So we started out with these security teams with guns to make sure that we were safe. Well, what we found out very early on is whatever that was in the woods that we saw, because I saw large bipedal shadow figures walking in the forest. I couldn't get a good eye, but one thing I did see at the very beginning was this bipedal shadow with these ears. So
Okay.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, here we go.
That's like
And then,
Dog Man, right?
yeah.
That's
And I'm
yeah.
like, we're, and the energy that I was feeling, I was getting knots in my stomach. I was getting this heavy feeling. And I'm like, and Martin Groves was sitting beside me in the truck. He goes, yep, they're here. I said, yeah, I just saw it. And so we're driving down. And when I tell you this is what horror films are made of, we are driving down on this tiny little dirt road that's overgrown. And we cross this bridge where both sides of it had brush growing up over, and all it is a
Mm.
tiny little path through. And as we're driving, I see this face on the side looking at us and then duck down. I'm going, geez. So we get to the area of investigation, which is a great one of the many, many graveyards there. And so we get to this place and we start walking up the hill and the energy's high. We're hearing things. And then the security team came in. Nothing. They never came out. Nothing happened. We're just feeling this high energy. So Martin Groves goes, well, they're here, but they're leery, they're afraid, I'm like, I'm feeling they're projecting their anxiousness. And so he asked, there was only two women there, myself and Melissa Adair. And Martin tells us to walk up the hill and start humming and singing.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, we're in the middle of nowhere.
Man.
And so we're going to walk up this hill alone and start humming and singing. So because I have so much respect for the man, we did it. And so we started singing, You Are My Sunshine, something happy. And then all of a sudden it went from this anxious, high energy, like projecting like your stomach's like, and it just went calmed right down.
Hmm.
And Martin goes, they've never seen women before investigating. And you singing made them feel like almost like a maternal, motherly calmness. And I'm like, that's great. That's a great experiment. Documented that, but that's not what we want. We want to make contact.
Right.
So we went to several other areas, experimented the same way, same things happening. So I said, we need to change this. And I brought these pheromones, these
Oof.
obsession for men. And this, I went to Victoria's Secret and got their female pheromone perfume before we went.
Good Lord.
And I started spraying all around the campground. So we wanted to have something come in. Guess what? It worked. So we're in this campground. I'm in a tent and these Bigfoot came in and they were curious. One started playing in the big bucket of water because I was woken up to it because we had a big bin of water for the shower. They're playing, having a good time. They're walking past things, but they didn't like the people in campers. If you were in a camper, they didn't like it and they would hit the campers. Boom, every
What
night.
that is. I wonder what that is.
So, yeah, I don't know. And they would clank rocks and they would take rocks and throw them in the water and then they would whistle and then they would whoop and there were tree knocks and like all around us every night. And then when we would go out on an investigation, we always had somebody there as security. The first night Martin Groves was there as security, two of them came into camp wanting our food that was left out. And he goes, Nat, he goes, I used really foul language and I was yelling. It was like, because he does not curse at all.
Right.
And he was like, and he was standing his ground and he had his pistol with him and he held them back. And then finally they just left. The following night, we went out and investigated and Jim Powell was there and he was running security. They came in again and they were not taking no for an answer. He goes, I was scared. And he's never scared. He will walk into the worst situation and going, we got this. And he goes, I had to retreat to my tent. He goes, I did not know what was going to happen.
I always find that phrase funny. I retreated to my tent.
Yeah. And you know what was so weird? They
What's
never.
your tent gonna do?
Yeah. But the thing is that they never messed with our tents. Anybody
That's so
in a
bizarre.
tent, they were like, yeah, it's fine. If you were in a camper, they were messing with you.
Oh my gosh. That's so bizarre.
I was like that. It was just so weird. So I don't fully understand that, but
I don't either.
I don't know. Maybe they just don't like the camper thing. And yeah, they were. So one night when we regrouped and we said, okay, we have to walk into an area vulnerable. And this was about maybe Wednesday, midweek. We had 5 women in the group. And we said, let's go in vulnerable, have all investigators be women, nobody armed. I had bear spray on me. And I said 2 cameramen, of course, Greg was one of them. He carried a small pistol in his coat. And there was Jim who carried a small pistol. That was it. And I said, we're going to go in and see how that happens. And Greg goes, listen, we need to go in and pick a fight. So I remember earlier in the week, I got growled at walking to the bathroom. And it wasn't an aggressive kind of like, I'm going to kill you. It was like, I'm here. You stay there. I'll stay here. And it was like, we're setting boundaries. I remembered that growl, and I did that exact same growl 3 times because we would walk up halfway up the hill in the graveyard. I did 3 of those growls, and all hell broke loose. From the top of the ridge came boom, 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 and the ground is shaking under our feet. And I looked at Greg. I said, let's do this. And he's like, we got it. We got it. And so I growled again, more booms, boom, boom, boom. And all of a sudden, just movement from all around coming in. And I'm going, so 2 of the women had thermal cameras. I said, let's keep the therms checking in the outside so we're not going to be ambushed by anything. I said, with our own eyes, because it was the day before the full moon. So it was pretty bright
moon
outside.
was pretty good.
Oh yeah. We didn't need flashlights. It was pretty well illuminated, except for the areas where the trees were covering. It was a little darker. So I noticed at the top of the hill at the tree line, there was a light behind a tree. And it wasn't like a flashlight projecting out. It was just illuminated. So I asked them, I said, are y'all seeing this? Because I'm trying to make sure that I'm not seeing things. They're like, no, there's a light up there. I'm like, okay, we need to keep an eye on that. So we're and just taking a look around. So Melissa does a couple howls. We get more boom, boom, and more movement. Then Melissa gets sick. She gets nauseous, lightheaded. And I'm
Like she
like,
got zapped.
yeah, I said, get in behind me. For whatever reason, that doesn't affect me. And I don't know why. I said, just get behind me. I'll block it. She gets behind me. She starts to feel better. She steps back out. Jamie Kelly is now sick, who's also a female investigator. I said, get behind me. She starts to feel better. Now, meanwhile, we're making little whoops. We're taking a look around. We're seeing what we could see. And as she's behind me, she goes, okay, I feel better. She comes out and I look up where that light is. And now it's an oval. And I'm going, are you seeing this? This light is illuminated. It's not projecting out light. It's just illuminated and it's in a perfect oval. And they're like, we're seeing this. So I wasn't just me. And I'm like, okay. So then I look and I'm like, what is that? This thing crawls out of this oval and starts standing there on all 4s, moving back and forth like this. And I said, and the only thing I can say is that's a crawler. I don't know what it is. It's a crawler. So I said, I have a crawler at my 12 o'clock. Another one comes out. I said, I have 2 crawlers at my 12 o'clock. And another one comes out. I'm like, we have 3 crawlers at my 12 o'clock, and all of them are down on all 4s, just moving back and forth, not physically moving forward, but just their bodies are moving. At that time, both Jamie and Melissa get sick again. I said, get in behind me. I said, just stay close. Greg goes, I'm going to make a hard growl to see what we can do. He lets out this growl. And evidently, one of those things, those crawlers up at the top of the hill, takes aggression to that. it starts charging us, and it's what we see are these long, lanky arms, and it's like a gallop and a crawl at the same time
Uh-huh.
moving. He yells, "Ah!" Takes his camera from one hand to the other, goes to grab his pistol. I'm like, no, I got to protect these girls. So I grab my bear spray. I lunge towards it, spray the bear spray. It stops it and it retreats back. So meanwhile, the bear spray's still there. So we all have to retreat back
Yeah.
because now we're like, whoa. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what if he misses and tries and shoots it and it doesn't work? What if? So the bear spray stopped it. And we still don't know what this thing is.
Yeah.
And so we're like, what is that? Like, it's not a dog man. It's not a Bigfoot. What is it? So we retreat all the way down the hill to where our trucks are. And so as we get to the bottom of the hill, I see these crawlers still up there, and movement now all around everywhere. And we start hearing a weird dog barking in the back of us, behind us. And then we hear a woman scream behind us in the field. Kristen turns around with her thermal and she goes, I have a large bipedal creature standing in the field watching us. So she gets that on film. So all of this is happening. I look to the left of me. There are red orbs in front of my truck. There are red orbs behind the other truck that we brought in. We are getting movement now closer to us in the shrubs and bushes and trees. The light is still up at the top of the hill with these things moving. And then all of a sudden, all the batteries in our equipment dies.
That's what I was about to say, because every time, yeah. Anyway, keep
Gone.
going.
Our regular batteries that were at 100% were gone. Our backup batteries that weren't even attached to the cameras, ready to be inserted, they're gone.
Mhm.
That's zero. People are having issues with their therms, whether they can record or not. Phones are being drained. And we're like, what is happening right now? So we can't film anymore. Jamie still has her therm working. She's still navigating around. Jim is still working on his therm. And I look to the left of me to where my truck is, and I see, and I can't even explain this, a large Bigfoot walk behind my truck and disappear into thin air. I'm going, and now everybody else is looking another way. I'm looking this way, so nobody else saw it. And I'm going, what is happening? I'm like, it just gone. And I'm like, and Greg goes, listen, he goes, under normal circumstances, if we were doing it like an investigative like outing, we would
Yeah.
stay. But right now, everything's being aggressive. We're getting a lot of negative energy in. Our batteries are dead. We have no cell phone service. I think for safety purposes, we need to retreat. So we get in our vehicles, we start them up, and all of us at the same time get overwhelmed with like an anxious sickness, like nodding, and they're pushing us out. So we get up to the top of this little tiny dirt road and make a left on another dirt road. And as soon as we made that left, we were fine.
Portals, crawlers,
Yeah.
and orbs, oh my.
Yeah. And I'm like, this is LBL.
Yeah.
And, I've witnessed, I'm sorry, I've spoken to witnesses that have experienced these booming in the ground shaking. I have interviewed other people that said, I've seen a portal open up and these black creatures come crawling out and they attacked us. I witnessed all of this in 1 week
Yeah.
at the LBL. And, when I got to the LBL and set up camp, I prayed, I meditated. I'm like, I want to make contact. I want to have this experience. but, please protect us at the same time. And, none of us were hurt. None of us, came away with permanent illnesses or anything
Right.
like that. But we got to see things that
Damn.
people only hope to experience. So yeah, it was insane. Absolutely insane.
Yeah,
And that was just
that's
one.
wild.
And then the next night we had a whole different experience. We went to a totally different area, again another graveyard, and there was a path that took a giant loop around a forest, and we decided to go into two teams, look as vulnerable as we can. And so the team that I was on, it was myself and three other women, and then two men. And so we get to an area where there's power lines, and we all have heard about the power lines, how a lot of people have Bigfoot sightings. Well, it just so happens Jamie is insanely sensitive to cryptids. She could feel them, and she stopped in her tracks and she goes, I have an overwhelming feeling right now. I said, okay, let's evaluate that. Is it the energy being given off by the power lines? Or are you feeling something else? She goes, I don't know. So her sister was there with a therm, and she was therming around. She goes, I have a large bipedal creature hiding behind a tree, peeking out at us. I'm like, well, there, Jamie was right. It's there. And we can hear it moving from tree to tree and moving around. And so I look through the therm. I saw it. We're recording it, and it's peaking and peaking. So we're just standing there kind of observing. Sean, who is about 6'1", goes, I'm going to move ahead to see what I can do. As soon as he moved ahead, this Bigfoot took aggression and started growling at him. So he moved back, and I said, okay, so as soon as he moved back, the Bigfoot retreated. We could hear it walking in the forest. So we started walking. It's now paralleling us, and we get to a little dirt access road, which goes way down a hill. And we look down there, and I'm like, I see a campfire. And I'm like, and so we looked, and it was just a truck with a little tent and a little campfire. And I'm like, I know I didn't see a camper. This thing was massive, okay, and furry. That wasn't a camper peeking out. So it was massive. What we believe is that this Bigfoot was watching this camper, maybe to look for food,
Gotcha.
and we interrupted it, and thinking that we were moving in on the food source, whatever. So we were like, we're going to just go. So we kept going away. We went away, and it didn't follow us. So that's where, like, okay, we're just going to keep walking. We met up with the other team, exchanged some stories, because we're hearing all kinds of stuff in the forest, walking and things. So that's when Amy goes, I have something very strange on the therm, and I don't know what it is. So we're like, she's like, no, it's very small, but it looks like it's floating along the forest floor. And we're like, so, and she goes, it's gone now. And I'm like, were you recording? She goes, yeah. So we're like, we're going to watch that later. So we get around, we meet back up with the other team, and we decide just to sit and observe in small teams, like a group of 2 here, a group of 4 here, and just sit in silence with no lights on. One team observed a large white orb. Another team was hearing things in the woods like growling. Sean and I witnessed an apparition appear because we were by the graveyard. This woman in this white flowing just appeared and then just disappeared. So it's just, we're experiencing all this stuff around us, which
Yeah.
was amazing. And then we went and just stayed there. We stayed there till about 1:30, 2:00 in the morning. And then we just left and went back to base camp. And it was just an incredible, incredible journey and experience.
Yeah, that place, I don't think people understand either I mean, it's almost like the perfect uh convergence of things
Yeah.
there. I mean, you're stuck literally, LBL, land between the lakes.
Yeah.
You're between two bodies of water.
Mm-hmm.
You've got, because they're dammed, right? So they're man-made lakes on
Yes.
top of it.
Yeah.
And so you've got burial grounds and
Mm-hmm.
cemeteries and towns that literally got flooded.
Yep.
And sometimes they do these things and you're like, what are they, when you start digging, what are they covering up?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like I haven't done as much research as I'd like there. Because the Allegheny National Forest is very similar.
Yeah.
There's other things going on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have everything. You have paranormal stuff. You have it's almost like a Bigfoot dogman boundary.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yeah.
not saying, but a lot of people theorize that dogman and Bigfoot are on opposite sides of something going on, right?
Right.
And it's like there's territories within LBL that some go and some don't.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you've got paranormal stuff coming out crazy. You've got the orbs, the portals. What else? I had something else in my head too. Oh, there's UFO stuff.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's all, which again, everything kind of melds together and rhymes a little bit, but
Yeah.
that's
Well,
a whole nother show.
yeah,
Um,
it does. It does. It overlaps. And I saw Melissa did a little research after we got back from the LBL, and she goes, I have something to show you. She goes, it's AI, but it's based on people's description of a rake. And she goes, I just want you to look at it. So she sent it to the group. And so we're looking at it and we're like, okay. And then it gets down on all fours and starts moving back and forth.
yeah,
And
yeah.
Greg and I go,
Oh
that's
my
what it
God.
is. That's what we saw. That's exactly what it was. But it was dark. And of course, they were dark because it's dark. And so I'm like, holy crap, that's what it was. So I think when people use the term crawler, sometimes Bigfoot gets down on all fours and crawls.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of sightings, and it seems like it's becoming more prevalent where
Mm-hmm.
Bigfoot's like literally almost like on its arms and legs, but just like flat to the ground.
Yeah. So I think crawler is a general term used for cryptids on all fours.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. But what we saw, what we couldn't explain was like, there's a crawler, but we don't know what it is. And then once she showed us this video, we're like, and both Greg and I at the same time, that's it. That's it. That's what we saw.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I want to see if I've never done this, but I'm going to try. And of course, nothing's working. Why is
Oh,
nothing working? Because you know what? So here's the deal. I've been having technical issues with everything but the recording.
okay.
I usually say a prayer before I record.
Uh-huh.
Um, and none of my internet stuff is working.
Oh,
And I'm not saying, oh, something's messing with my whatever, but
right.
I've had this happen. And I found it funny that when we first started, your speakers weren't working.
I know my speakers weren't working and
So
my video glitched.
I almost always say that every time I've had an issue, I didn't pray before. I've had shows that we almost, like guys like Jerry Marzinsky. I don't know if you've ever heard of this guy, but he's a psychotherapist who believes that schizophrenia is demons, essentially.
Okay.
Essentially. We spent 20 minutes trying to get equipment to work, and then we said a prayer and
Uh-huh.
it all popped on.
Boom.
It was so
Yep.
bizarre. And that's happened multiple times to me. And people that have been doing this a while agree.
Yeah,
So
it
yeah.
does.
Anyway, so I have a picture of a rake
Cool.
in the Allegheny National Forest. So
Oh,
I'll put it
so
in the show
cool.
notes, but because I
Yeah.
wanted to show it to you,
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Okay,
But
cool.
for some reason, I can't, like, you know, how you share screen and pull it up.
Yeah.
It will not come up. And
Yeah.
it could just be a regular glitch, but other things are glitching right now.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you when I'm on paranormal podcasts and I start talking about the deep paranormal, and we did a show on demon possession,
Yeah.
my light kept going real bright and
Oh, yeah.
out and
Yeah. Yeah.
in and out. And it's a joke now that when that happens, it's like spirits here, like, we can hear you.
Yeah. Or something, you know, I'm telling you, they know, they
Hmm.
know, they know.
Yeah, they do. And so
Um,
I have a spirit here visiting me in the last 24 hours, and they're just hanging out. Don't know why, but they're just hanging out with me.
yeah. Yep. This is not working for me at all. What is up with that? So weird. Oh, see here now I'm talking about it. Things are happening.
Oh, good.
So it's obviously like in perfect cryptid fashion. It's very grainy.
Mhm.
But I and here's the thing, I cannot somebody's got it, but I cannot find the original. It's from a trail cam
Okay.
in the Allegheny National Forest, and it's a campsite next to I will not stay in that campsite because I just get
Really?
the willies big time. It's right next to a stream,
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's some other things going on. There's some underground. There's definitely like some water features
Mm.
underground because there's a couple natural springs popping from there too.
Mhm.
And it's like this convergence spot. And I don't even like driving through it, but we have to drive over it to get to where we do our research. And it's from this campsite. I'm going to see if I can open this and show you. Maybe. But yeah, it's kind of wild.
Yeah, we actually I have a friend, Jerry, in NCI. His property is wildly active with cryptids and paranormal, and he has on one of his cameras. I don't know if it was a game camera or if it was a like one of his just ring cameras, but it's a shadow of a Bigfoot with a rake right beside it. And I'm going, "Are you kidding me right now?" He's like, "There's activity." And there's times where we were on podcasts together and he had to run outside because his farm animals were going crazy because there was something out there. It's insane. I'm like, "I wanna go camping on your property. I just wanna go there for a couple of days and just experience whatever's out there." It's crazy.
Seeing if I can do this.
Okay.
Never done it. Oh, of course, it's doing weird things. So maybe it can't.
Of course it is.
Come on, man. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Can you
there it
see that?
is. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Ugh, I can't. There we go.
Look at that.
And I don't know if I can zoom in. I don't know how that works. Either way, you can see the figure, right? Standing
Right.
right next to that tent, TP type
Yeah.
tent. And then that's like a zoomed in. Look at how long the arm is.
Yeah.
And
Long, lanky
the guy that
arms.
gave us that, he was out. I mean, we talked to him. He he packed up and he was going to spend the whole week out there.
Uh-huh.
And after he caught that on his game camera, he packed up and took off because he heard it outside his tent. And I mean,
That
we're talking like a 35-minute drive in off of a hard paved road, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
out there. Cell
Yeah.
phone service doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
It's as remote as you're gonna get.
Right.
And man, so
Yeah, that's what nightmares are made out of, right there.
of course, do you know Brooke, Dark Florida?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's obviously I sent this to her a while back.
yeah,
So I'm like, where can I find it? Where I can
yeah.
pull it up?
She's
So,
awesome. I love Brooke. Love her
yeah,
to death.
she's pretty cool. We do so well, you might have met Nick as well at a show somewhere from the
Occult Rejects.
yeah.
Yeah,
So her and I go on his show quite a bit.
yeah. I
So that's
love
where I
Brooke. I love Nick. They are a ton of
Yeah.
fun. Ton of fun.
Yeah, he's Nick's a piece of work. But anyway, he just
In fact, I want to see him next week.
Oh,
I
are
want to
you?
be on his show next week. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so am I. I'll be there.
Okay, cool. Well, hey.
I forgot. So I'm one of the rejects on that show. Yeah, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, he's a hoot. We were at the
So he'll probably
Fort
give
Myers.
he'll probably give me a hard time. He'll be like, "You stole her from me, man." Yeah. I'll just make sure because he does. Yeah. Anyway, so Fort Myers. Sorry.
Yeah. So we were in Fort Myers together at that conference at the paranormal cryptid conference.
Yeah.
And so it was the beyond belief, and it was such a cool experience. And so we all got to hang out afterwards and go to dinner, and it was a ton of fun.
Yeah, he said he had a ton of fun at that place.
Yeah,
So
it really
like, Man, you
was.
need to calm down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please. Even my door. See, crazy stuff.
What's happening?
My door just opened up for no
Ooh.
reason, and I make sure that it's shut. Yep. See, what are you doing?
I know.
It's your
I know.
fault.
I'm projecting some energy towards you.
'Cause
They're
I
all
have-
going, hey,
I-
who's she?
My
Hey, girl.
oldest daughter that lives at home, her room is right next to my, I don't know, office, studio,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call this. And yeah, so I always make sure it's shut because, if she's coming back and forth, I don't want her.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow. All right. Active.
Okay.
See, we got activity on the show too.
We sure
Unreal.
do.
Unreal.
That's what I do.
All right. So Natalie, amazing stories. I'm sure we could go on for another hour.
Yeah.
But so two things are the show's called Broadcasting Seeds.
Mhm.
And we've covered a lot of ground tonight. And I'd like to, what I do is have my guests plant some seeds in the audience's mind. Plant some seeds of see, this thing keeps opening. This is weird.
This is that very odd. Somebody wants to come in and join the podcast.
And it's latched. Fun stuff. So plant some seeds in the audience's mind about, whatever. Give them.
Oh, I would love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the one thing that I try to let people know is that we are a community. We are here to support one another. And if you have a story or if you have experienced anything or seen anything, share that. And what you might think is minor or you're afraid to say something, reach out to somebody in the cryptid or paranormal community, because what you might experience in Virginia, you might think, oh, that's just a one-off, but other people might be experiencing the same thing. And so once you have an experience here and an experience here and experience here, now you're creating evidence. And that evidence is going to bring us further towards the truth. And so we are here to support you. And nobody within the community should put you down, should make fun of you, should dismiss what you have experienced. True cryptid and paranormal investigators that value their craft will support you and understand what you're saying. So definitely share your stories, share your experiences. And also if you're thinking, you're sitting on the couch and you're wondering whether or not that, should I go out, go take a hike in a national forest, go out and explore a little bit and just really decompress from all the stress of life. Because even though we go out and investigate, a lot of times it's just beautiful being in nature to
Absolutely.
go and
Go
witness
touch the
just,
grass, as we would say.
yeah. Yeah, sit down and just listen to the birds, listen to the crickets, just decompress and get grounded, and you will find that a lot of your stress and anxiety will just melt away, which is just beautiful. And maybe if you're lucky, you'll get to see something that you have never experienced before.
And it's this side of it too, just to bring it up. I've dealt with some pretty like scary stuff out there,
Hmm.
right?
Oh yeah.
And in the moment, it's scary, but it's like never precludes me from going back. Like
Yeah.
there's people that they get ruined,
Hmm.
but it's usually
Yeah.
those folks that are on the fence anyway,
Yeah. Yeah,
right?
they're on the
Have you
fence
noticed that?
or they're just absolute disbelievers, like it doesn't happen, then all of a sudden a Bigfoot shows up in front of them,
Right. Or dog man or
or Dog
anything.
Man or something, and then they were so dead set against it that now they are so dead set about going out and it ruins their lives, and,
Yeah.
just educate yourself. There's a lot of books out there. There's documentaries. There's a lot of people that you can ask questions to or go to. There's conferences all over that you can go to and ask your questions. So definitely
Absolutely.
support them because they're out there to help people.
Yeah. Um, have you watched David Paulides' new documentary that just came out?
I have not yet.
Ooh, man. What is it called? American Sasquatch, Man, Myth, or Monster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now, I think the only place you can watch it is on Prime, and it's like $20.
Yeah.
I, I actually paid it
Yeah.
because I watched a question and answer, a Q&A on YouTube after.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fine, I'll pay the money. And plus you're supporting whatever,
Right. Right.
it was a very, very well done documentary. Just so you
That
know.
is fantastic. No, that's fantastic.
And
I've
I'm kind of
heard great
propping, I'm
things.
kind of plugging it here. Like, go check it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Check it out because I know a lot of hard work and dedication went into that movie.
Well, I love like with him, he's not letting that DNA test, the DNA, the Ketchum genome, the Bigfoot genome, the DNA study, this one, that,
Yes.
you know, he's not letting it die.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
Yeah. So,
so tell people where they can find you once again.
yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube under Natalie Smearman. You can also find me at Relic Films Media on Facebook and YouTube. We have Beyond the Ordinary Talk Show out on YouTube right now under the Relic Films label. And our documentary, The Vanished, will be premiered January 31st in Gardendale, Alabama. We're also holding a small conference as well during that time. So it's going to be a ton of great speakers, vendors, a lot of fun. And then will be streaming afterwards. You can find me on Paranormal Among Us every Tuesday at 7:30 Eastern on YouTube, and Blondes and Booze every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun and a lot of laughs.
Awesome. I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you.
We'll do it again at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And I'll see you Wednesday.
Yeah. No kidding. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. All right. Take care, Natalie.
Thank you so much.
She was young when the shadows moved, corners whispered names, cold air crawling through the room, nothing ever felt the same. Figures standing just out of sight, eyes where I shouldn't be. Some run from the dark their whole damn life. She learned how to listen quietly. Not every door is meant to stay shut. Not every voice is a lie. Some truths don't come wrapped in daylight. They come when the forest replies. sound like prayers you've heard. You're not crazy for hearing it. You're not alone for seeing it. You just step